Hey everybody, David back with you. We're talking to Desiree. We're talking about saving our children. As a matter of fact, we have a new TV series called Saving America, and that really is about saving our children. They're the future of America. Go to davidheavener.tv and watch it exclusively. Desiree, the school system. Now, I got to be careful because there's a lot of good teachers out there, and there's a lot of people that try really hard. But I believe, for the most part, it's a failed system. What say you? What about the public school system? What do you
Well,
say about that?
I have done such an exhaustive research about all of the areas in our lives to understand that everything has been designed to make us either dumb down or mentally ill. And the school system is no different. They have, first of all, they have a lot of the history that we're taught is not even real, it's not true. And they also do a lot of things that make the students be obedient, but they don't teach them how to critically think. I talk about that in my book. Like, it's very, very sad, but that's the truth. And I have friends of mine that are teachers, and they're great, and I do appreciate a lot of them and how they help our children. But unfortunately, the whole design of how the education
Mm.
system here in America is working is not for them to learn how to be critical thinkers. They know how to pass tests and they know how to memorize, but they're not taught to be analytic, or how do you say, like to analyze things from deep, They are not
Right.
taught to be critical thinkers. They're not.
Exactly. Plus, when you take God out of the picture, that it's over.
Oh,
First of all,
yeah.
yeah, evil comes in, and they have this corrupted system that does what you said, which is true, where the children don't think for themselves. They're commanded to do things. They don't even know why they're doing them. But the things they really need to do when they graduate, they don't really know how to do that. So they end up at Starbucks. Okay. But then when
Right.
you take God out of it, which is what they've done, most of them, it's void, and you're headed for a collision. So let's talk about the drugs. And I'm not talking about the drugs on the street, even though, unfortunately, some of our young children are connecting with some of the drug dealers on the street. How despicable. But I'm talking about the, quote, pharmaceutical drugs, the legal drugs. What say you? What's going on with all these children diagnosed with these different diseases with all these letters to them, and they're given drugs for all this? Is this real, or what's going on?
I've also done research on that, especially since I myself was in they gave me lithium and a bunch of other things that made me like a zombie. And I've heard very respectful doctors talk about how psychiatric drugs, first of all, don't cure any mental illness and are actually more dangerous than the illness themselves. Those drugs, in my opinion, are no good, and they never helped me. They only made me worse.
Yeah,
That's how I think I see it.
mhm. I've talked to parents who they bow their head when they won't look me in the eye, and they say, well, my son or daughter has a again, there's all these conditions, and so they're taking this medication. Right now, they know they shouldn't be doing that. They won't even look me in the eye. Desiree, don't you believe that someone is conditioning our children, because they're the future of America? They're conditioning our children to be dumbed down, to be on these drugs, to when they grow up, who knows what they're going to be like, you know?
Absolutely. Not only that, but they become drug addicts with the other types of drugs, because I heard a psychiatrist say that some of the psychiatric medications have the same type of like high that cocaine gives you. So these
Yeah.
kids that grow up on these drugs, they end up become cocaine addicts when they get adults, just because they have that association now.
Yeah, yeah. And the pharmaceutical industry is a multi-billion dollar industry. And if you go messing with them, you might end up, at the bottom of the ocean with with a cord wrapped around your neck. You got to be careful what you say, because they don't like it when you speak out. So I appreciate what you're doing, taking a platform, coming from a place where you came from, being homeless, raising children with no, single mother, and having this illness. Desiree, before we go, and I do want to talk about your book, but before we go, what can you tell a parent out there that's been listening to this show, this part of this gathering? They've heard what you've said, what I've said, what God said, and they're in this situation, whether it be an abuse situation or dropping their children off somewhere or sending their children to school knowing that it'd be better if they didn't, or their children are on medication. What can you tell them?
Well, honestly, there's no easy answer because every situation is different. You just pray your heart out to God and he will guide you like he did with me, because we are all in a different scenario and sometimes we're pinned between the wall and the sword, and you just gotta pray and ask God, what is your priority? Because sometimes all of it is important and you just have to choose something that and negate something else that is important too. So I'm a prayer warrior, and that's all I know to say. Pray.
Okay.
And a child with psychiatric medications, it's dangerous to take them off cold turkey. There's scientists too that show you that it can be very dangerous, so don't do that either. But pray
Yeah.
for show you how to get them off the medication and how to bring them into the truth of the Word of God in a safe, because at the end of the day, those medications don't heal you.
You know, what you said triggered something. Pray over your children. In other words, go to your child, a parent, if they are on medication, like Desiree said, don't just take them off the medication, but pray for deliverance, okay? Pray over them. If you're sending them to school and God's been dealing with you, hey, maybe you want to homeschool, pray over them. If your child is, no matter what it is with children, because I call it deep state children, the deep state wants our kids. Pray over your child. Lay hands on them. Let them hear that you're praying. Let them hear the words. God will deliver. He's a God of victory.
I can feel the evil. I can feel it is so thick. You can feel the evil out there in the air. It's there. Yes, it's demonic.
There is an absolute attack on the American family.
It's not the America that I remember or that I read about. It's a much different America. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't even call it America.
And you know, in the Bible it says that a third of the angels fell with Satan. And I get in trouble when I say this. I feel if a third of the angels fell with Satan, they had to come down somewhere.
Children are either left alone with really messed up people, strangers, or even family members, but that are not well in the head, and they get traumatized by either physical abuse, mental abuse, verbal abuse, or sexual abuse.
It is anti-life, anti-God, and anti-family. Just look around society today and you see it.
Or they're completely alone with their TVs and their technology, getting fed pure violence, pure, evil thoughts, evil ideas, and nobody's there to guide them or to instruct them in righteous ways.
I think they landed right in L.A. because what does Los Angeles mean? City of Angels. Okay? I believe it's City of Dark Angels.